We're going to have question Q&A time for a lot of these talks, so make sure that you're thinking throughout the time of anything that you'd like to ask the speakers, because there will be time for it afterwards. So thank you, Oliver. And next we have a very cool gentleman. I didn't actually prepare anything, but I worked with Max in a group assignment outside of BCII, and he actually pulled his weight. Which puts him in the top percentile of MBAs. He's going to be talking to us about marketing, advertising, and change behaviour. I cannot see where he is, so I'm just going to keep stalling. Oh, there he is! Everyone, ladies and gentlemen, it's Mr. Maxwell Hogue.
Hello everyone, how are you doing? Oh, people responded, I was not expecting that. Awesome. So, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. And I think that's fundamentally true for horses, but I don't think it's true for people. Do I just do this with change slides on? Alright, it's like a magic power. Cool. Bam. Here we are. Awesome. So, most of you know who I am, but some of you may not. So my name's Max. I'm a business BCII student. And my majors in the business faculty were marketing, advanced advertising, and strategic marketing. So if it's not already clear with the horse theme, I'm a bit of a one-trick pony, but that's totally but I think that's totally okay because I loved advertising. It's my favorite thing in the world because I think that the ability to change people's hearts and minds is the most powerful ability in the world. Like, to solve a lot of these social problems that exist in the world, we need to get people to agree with us and more importantly to act together. So, and advertising doesn't have to necessarily be evil. I mean, a lot of the examples here, with the exception of Snoopy, are advertising dollars being used for social good and for social causes. So, you know, Airbnb brought out the premise ring where it has a little hole in it, and you wear it until marriage equality is passed, woo-woo. And basically it's a symbol to show that you stand with people until the legislation passes, right? And that's advertising. So I think it's really powerful, and I want to gift some of these tools to you. So what I'm going to be talking about today is the basics of behavioral change, how to choose the behavior that you want to change. Like, there's a lot of options, so you've got to pick something. And then also we can talk about the hard part. So let's start with the basics. All of you marketing students already know what we're talking about here, so just sit back and relax. Like, advertising is not brainwashing. Like, I can't be like, buy Pepsi, and you'll buy Pepsi. That's never going to happen. But there are kind of criteria that we can meet that make people more receptive to the thing that you want them to do. So, in short, we can influence others to change their behavior if they're motivated to do what we're asking, and if what we're asking them to do is relatively easy. So, 2 new terms, I'm going to unpack them as we go. So, motivation. What on earth is motivation? I mean, in a definitional sense, it's described as like a inner state of arousal that helps us achieve a particular goal. Like, it gives us energy. But when you're hungry, you're motivated to go and buy a meal. And when you're tired, you're motivated to go and get a coffee. It's basically the thing that makes you do what you want to do. It's a bit of an abstract concept, so measuring motivation is a bit weird. But if you had to, you could kind of look at these 2 ideas and figure out how motivated a group of people or a person might be. So let's talk about incentives, right? Like, what's in it for me? We all seek pleasure and avoid pain instinctively, right? That's just a normal thing. When it's raining and you've got an important business meeting to get to, you might end up buying an umbrella so that you can stay dry and get down with a professional. And that's avoiding pain. Seeking pleasure might be if you're getting a burger from McDonald's and you're really hungry. To live your values and to reduce your carbon footprint and your waste footprint and be a better, more productive member of society. So that's why they're valuable, right? And that's why we're motivated to use them and provide them. They're not convenient. I mean, definitely. So let's talk about ease now, right? So ease is made up of 2 things, ability and opportunity. So what is ability? Ability is basically having the resources to do as you ask. So if I asked you all to buy a Lexus, who can buy a Lexus? Yeah, that's fine, I can't buy a Lexus after, something more about that. So that's basically what that's talking about. So money, emotional resources, and also the skills to do things. Like, I'm never going to buy a motorbike because I can't ride a motorbike. So, and then there's opportunity, right? So if ability is like us internally, then opportunity is the external environment, right? Are there any environmental constraints stopping us? So this is why those guys don't stop you when you're obviously going somewhere, so you don't have the time or the opportunity to actually sign up and have a conversation. So now that we've understood this, we can talk about changing the behavior we want to change. So I'm going to use a little example. Let's say that we want to raise $20,000 for the Magic Pudding Childcare Center at UTS. So this is it's a good name, right? So it's a non-profit center at UTS, and they provide childcare. That's it. And let's say that I'm really, really passionate about this, and I want to raise some money to help a good cause. So after we've identified the goal, we need to talk about what sort of behaviors we can change. And I'm assuming we're all pretty creative and intelligent people here, so we're creative enough to think about like all the different options. And in general, there's about 10. There's at least 10 different behaviors that you could change. But we're going to use an example with 4. So we could ask my friends and family to donate money to the centre, right? Or we could ask the parents who send their kids to the childcare centre to donate some money to the centre themselves. We could also ask the parents of the childcare centre to ask their friends and family to donate, which sounds the same, but it's an important distinction. And then we could ask the local community to donate to their childcare centre. So now that I've kind of run you through these, what you can do is, harking back to this idea of motivation and ease, you can actually graph them to see how easy it would be to influence them to do the behavior you want to do. So, disclaimer, this is kind of arbitrary. This is just based on my assumptions, but this is basically what. But let me explain why I put the dots where I put them. So, my friends donating. I feel like they'd be pretty motivated because it's something that's important to me, and I'd be able to convince them that it's important to me, and that way they would. Ooh, I'm freezing up. It's all good. So basically, like, you know, I have a social rapport with my friends. If I asked all of you to donate, you probably would, because it's something that's important to me, and hypothetically, I'm important to you. And it's also relatively easy. Anyway, it's probably a little bit easy too, because there's no pressure to donate a particular amount. Like, if you could just go through me, and then I could pass the money on to the childcare centre. So there's no like big effort into you. You all see me every day. Asking the parents to donate. So of course, parents care about their children, but they're already paying childcare fees, right? So they may not have a lot of extra resources to pay more money. And if you're already paying fees to make sure that your child is looked after, why would you want to donate even more? It's kind of a hard sell. The community. So the community probably has probably has a few dollars to spare for a childcare facility. But also, like, they're not emotionally attached. Like, there's so many degrees away from the childcare centre. I think you'd have to increase their motivation by making it personally relevant, or by, you know, showing them what they'd actually be donating towards. And finally, the interesting one is asking parents to ask their friends to donate. So this works off the same principle as the first example, right? Like, if they're asking their friends to donate because the cause is important to them, then hypothetically, it's 80 times more effective than me asking, because you have 80 to 60 people going out to their networks asking them for money. So now that we've kind of shown this graph, what we can do to decide which behavior we should choose is we can size them. So I've sized these based on how many people we would be influencing and how effective they would be in helping us reach our goal. And I think that that's a bit fun. Asking parents to ask their friends to donate would be the best, even though my friends are almost a definite to do it, right? Because this way we would reach an amount of people that would actually help us reach the $20,000 goal. Like, I don't have that many friends, guys. I don't think we can do that effectively. And that's basically the main idea I wanted to talk about in my presentation. So now we get to talk about the hard part. So now that we understand what behavior we want to change, we've got to find a creative way to do it. And this is really, really difficult. A lot of people here are doing an IIP project, and I feel like a lot of those IIP projects are about changing behavior in some way, shape, or form. For example, the one where they're trying to get people to not drive to work and use public transport. That's a behavioral change issue, right? And it's really, really difficult. But, we're very clever people, and you can come up with lots of creative ideas to make it happen. I've come up with a bunch of random ones. We could turn donating into a game, for example, and the person who donates the most could get a room in the childcare centre named after them. Or we could make it simple to donate. We could just make a GoFundMe page and share it widely and broadly and hope that enough people donate to reach our goal. Or we could give them ownership of the centre in some way. There's lots of different things to do, and I do not have time to go over them in 10 minutes. But if you need some creative inspiration, look to the experts. So these are some major kind of advertising agencies in the Sydney area. I'm not an expert. I just kind of put down some well-known ones and the one that I interned at. But if you need any inspiration on how to change behaviour in a unique and interesting way, go to talk to them. Anyway, to sum up the talk, I think that advertising has a lot of tools and a lot to give to the problems that we're all facing. So hopefully this has given you some sort of inspiration to find new ways to influence people to do what you need them to do. It doesn't have to be evil. We can do it for a good cause. We just have to keep our moral centre, at the front of mind. So thank you very much. A lot of this talk was sourced from a book called The Advertising Effect by Adam Ferrier. I have one copy that's currently left to Tristan, so if you do want to read it, feel free. And happy to answer any questions. Thanks so much for your time.
This is a question that I kind of had ever since we did the JWT brief. And it's a question I always have whenever I watch an ad in general. Like unlike you, I hate advertising because I can watch it and I'm like, oh, this is targeted like 18 to 24-year-old people, in this area. And it's just so plain, and like the language they speak in, especially when you've only got like 15 seconds. Sometimes you're really limited in being able to hit those points, like you're saying, those deeper points. So I guess what I'm interested in is how you break the mold of advertising to be able to get that initial attention. Do you have any kind of ideas about how you can reach people by using the mold of advertising?
Alright, so that's a hard question because we kind of live in an attention economy, because attention is the thing that's very much limited nowadays. So we're all fighting for it, and hundreds of thousands of different organizations and media channels and people are all vying for attention. If anyone's been Facebook messages about 6 times now, that's the attention economy in action. One trend that's One trend that's kind of
We'll give another question. Sorry.
cool. One trend that's kind of really prominent is that we live in an interconnected world. So often, instead of simply yelling at people, we can bring them into the fold and talk to them and do things together. So I can't think of an immediate example of that. But there's lots of ways that we can use technology to make it a back and forth, as opposed to yelling at people. And that often cuts through the mold. Or you can do something physical. I mean, a lot of the things that just happen here could be considered an installation that you could do in the street that would serve it to convince people to buy something or convince people to change their behavior. So making it physical is another interesting way to do it. But probably have a chat at the end and we're going to talk more about it.
One more question, if anyone wants to ask a question.
So I was asked by Oxford University Press to decide whether this book should come out into the market or not. And I was sent Adam Ferrier's book, The Advertising Effect, to read. And it's an excellent book, I'll give you that, because it has a very unusual way of looking at advertising. But I think what question I have is, there are so many interesting ideas that come from advertising around changing behaviour, and yet it's often design thinking that is given that role. How do we change behaviour? So if you were to create the design thinking version of advertising thinking, what might it be?
Design thinking of advertising. That's a bit of a hard brief, man. I mean, design thinking and the advertising process, I guess, are a little bit similar. I mean, I'm not an expert. I haven't worked in traditional creative agencies. I've only worked in branding agencies and innovation agencies. But the idea of talking to people and understanding them and getting that insight, and then testing things to make sure that the message or whatever we're providing is useful, and then shipping it out is basically the process of most things in a nutshell. I don't personally think I'd add anything to it. I mean, the idea of getting the insight is usually the most important thing, because once you understand that inner human truth of a person, or of an action, so the big insight around favorites, those favorite boxes, is that nobody ever knows what to bring to a social engagement. So they created favorites or celebrations in Mars' sense, I guess, but as basically something to fill that need, and that was kind of based on this really amazing insight. So I think that I probably wouldn't change anything. If that's it.
Create something for us. Create advertising thinking for us.
Sure, happy to. Alrighty. The school event. So I think I'm out of time. So thanks very much. Happy to chat to you again.